Hey guys, it's Adrienne from Crafty Little Gnome, and today I'm going to teach you how to make unpaper towels. What are unpaper towels, you say? Well, they are reusable paper towels that you can use. They are made out of cloth or some kind of fabric, and the idea is that instead of grabbing a paper towel, you would just reach for one of these rags when you have a spill to clean up or you need to wipe your face or your hands when you're eating. So for these unpaper towels, I am using regular 100% fleece cotton. So I bought this at our local fabric store at Joann Fabrics. I chose a couple different patterns. A lot of the ones that you see for sale online are either like pure white or charcoal gray, but I decided that I wanted to have some fun patterns just to hide stains and just for the fun of it. So I chose this cute one with some kitty cats on it, and I have one as well with these cute little hippos. You don't have to use the cotton fleece. You can use whatever cloth you want. Ideally you want something that's absorbent, so you can use terry cloth or any other kind of material that will absorb water. When you go to the fabric store to purchase them, you can ask the person working there what type of cloth works well for like cloth diapers. There is actually cloth that you can buy that says on it cloth diaper fabric. It's basically the same as this fleece. It's just a little bit more expensive. So you can use whatever you want, but it was cheaper with the coupon for me to use these two different kinds of fabrics. There was a sale going on. I got 1 yard of the kitten fabric and 1 yard of the hippo fabric, and they cost me about $3.75 each. So I am going to be making these unpaper towels for less than $10, and I can reuse them over and over again. So to make the unpaper towels, you're going to need a yard of fabric. You're going to need some scissors, a sewing machine. First thing you want to do before you start anything, and this goes for any sewing project that you do, is wash and dry your fabric. So wash and dry like normal according to the instructions for the type of fabric that you're using. Because fabrics can shrink a little bit or warp a little bit in the wash, you want to make sure you do this before you start cutting or sewing anything. If you wait and do it until after you're done the complete project, things could get a little bit warped and the stitching is already in place and it'll look a bit wonky. With this project, since we're basically doing rags, it's not a huge issue, but it's good to get in the habit of just making sure that you wash it and dry any kind of fabric you're using before you start your project. So what I've done is laid my fabric out on the table, and just to see how many paper towels I can get in the right size, I just am unrolling some that I already have. So if I just use the regular paper towels as a template, on 1 yard of fabric, I should get about 20 of these size. So these are like the half size paper towels. And if I want to do like a really big full one, then I'm going to have 10. You can cut them any size you want. It just depends on your personal preference. But if you want it to be the same size as a roll of paper towels, just lace them out and use those as a template. Okay, so we're going to start sewing the edge of the fabric. I've got everything good to go with my little sewing machine here. So I'm going to put the pressure foot down, and I have got the edge of the fabric right in line with the pedal, and we'll start. So I am using a stitch that looks sort of like a zigzag stitch. It doesn't really matter what you use. You can experiment with different ones and see what you like. It really doesn't matter. There are some of the unpaper towels that you buy that have edging all the way around it. Those companies have likely used a serger. It's a different kind of sewing machine, and it goes all around the edge. So if you look on the inside of your clothing, on some of the seams inside, you'll see that same kind of stitch, and that is using a serger. So you don't have to have a special sewing machine. You can just use a regular sewing machine and try some different stitches and see which works best for you. Once we get to the corner, I'm just going to pull the pressure foot up. I'm going to turn it, pressure foot down again, I'm a little further away this time. Like I said, it doesn't matter. You can trim that so it's closer if you want. The reason that we are doing the stitch around is just to prevent fraying or excess fraying of your little rags. So when you wash them, every time you'll get more and more loose threads, and putting the stitch on the outside really just helps prevent it from getting too frayed or ruined. Now we are at the end of sewing this. Okay, now that we're at the end, we just need to do a couple backward stitches to make sure that the threads don't come loose. So all we're gonna do is press this button here. It makes it go backwards and then forward again. And that just prevents the stitches from coming loose. Okay, now that I've got all of them done with the edging, some of them look a little bit questionable because I have been teaching my 6-year-old how to sew, so she's been working on these. So a lot of the stitching is a lot further from the edge than I normally would do. So really you want to get as close as you can to the edge without going over, but do the best you can. They're rags, so I mean, it really doesn't matter. So to store these, you can just fold them up and put them in a basket, or what I'm going to do, which is take my old paper towel roll, and I have overlapped them just slightly, and I'm just going to go ahead and roll them right up so that they will have easy access. It's a little bit hard to do with one hand, but they'll generally stick together as you go along, and then you can put them on your paper towel roll holder. Okay, then all you have to do is just plop it on and you're good to go. So you can just peel off the rag and go ahead and use them. And then when you're done, you can just put them in a little basket and then wash and dry them all together in the washer.